The sound of rain tapping against the airport window echoed the storm inside her heart. Emma stood near gate 24, her suitcase beside her, eyes fixed on the dark clouds outside. The loudspeakers called out flight numbers one after another, each announcement pulling her closer to a decision she wasn't ready to make, but had to. She was leaving behind the city, the memories, and most painfully, the man who had once made her believe in forever. Her ticket was ready, her mind made up. Yet her heart trembled with every beat. She told herself this was the right thing to do, walking away before love destroyed her again. If you believe in kindness, love, and second chances, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us spread these heartfelt stories further. Emma had always been the kind of woman who built others before herself. A teacher by profession, a listener by nature, she was known for her calm presence and patient soul. But love had not been kind to her. After losing her husband in a car accident 3 years earlier, she had vowed never to open her heart again. Life had been quiet since then, routine, lonely, and safe. That is, until she met Ryan. Ryan was a single father she met during a community outreach project where her school partnered with a local business. He was gentle yet strong, the kind of man who carried pain in silence and still managed to smile through it. His little boy, Liam, had the same bright eyes as him, innocent, hopeful, always asking questions about everything. Emma found herself drawn to both of them in ways she couldn't explain. It started with helping Liam with his reading assignments, then turned into late-night coffee chats with Ryan after school events, and eventually quiet dinners filled with laughter. But somewhere along the way, Emma realized something terrifying. She was falling in love again, and it scared her more than anything. Ryan had been open about his struggles. His wife had left when Liam was just a baby, unable to handle the pressure of raising a child with special needs. Liam wasn't disabled, but he had a mild hearing condition that made communication sometimes challenging. Ryan had faced judgment, financial hardships, and nights when he wasn't sure how to make it through. Emma admired his strength, but the weight of his life frightened her. She had already lived through love and loss once. Could she survive it again if it fell apart? The closer she got to Ryan and Liam, the more she feared being part of another broken family. When Ryan told her he wanted something serious, she panicked. The old wounds reopened, whispering that she would only end up hurting more, so she did the one thing she thought would protect her. She decided to leave. The morning of her flight, Ryan had begged her to stay. His voice cracked, his eyes full of pain. But Emma had been firm. "You and Liam will be fine," she said, forcing herself not to cry. "I just need to find myself again." Ryan didn't stop her after that. He just nodded, defeated. The silence that followed between them felt like a door closing forever. Now, standing in the bright, sterile airport, Emma tried to breathe, but each inhale felt heavy. Families rushed past her, some laughing, others arguing, but all connected in ways she no longer was. Her phone buzzed with a message from Ryan. Just 3 words, "Take care, Emma." She deleted it without replying, though her hands trembled as she did. The boarding announcement echoed, and she grabbed her suitcase handle. As she turned toward the gate, she heard a small, familiar voice behind her. "Miss Emma?" She froze. Slowly, she turned around, and there he was, Liam, with his little red hoodie and blue backpack, standing near the security line. His hair was messy from running, his cheeks flushed, and his tiny hands were clutching a folded paper. For a second, Emma couldn't move. "Liam, what are you doing here?" she whispered. He looked up at her, eyes wide and watery. "I came with Daddy. He doesn't know I ran over here. I just wanted to give you this." He held out the crumpled paper. Emma bent down to take it, her hands shaking as she unfolded it. Inside was a drawing, 3 stick figures holding hands, standing under a big yellow sun. Above them, written in a child's uneven handwriting, were the words, "Me, Daddy, and Miss Emma." Tears blurred her vision. "Liam, sweetheart," she started, but before she could say more, the boy whispered the words that broke her completely. "Please stay for my dad. He's sad when you're not there." It was as if time stopped. The noise of the airport faded. The world went still. Emma felt her heart shatter and rebuild all at once. The innocence in his voice, the simple truth in those words. No one had ever asked her to stay before, not like that. Not out of love, not out of need. She pulled him into her arms, hugging him tightly as tears streamed down her cheeks. Ryan appeared moments later, breathless and worried. When he saw them together, his face softened. "Liam, you can't just run off like that," he said, his voice trembling between relief and fear. Emma stood, still holding the drawing. "He wanted to give me this," she whispered. Their eyes met, hers full of confusion, his full of something deeper. "I wasn't going to stop you," Ryan said quietly. "You've been through enough. I just wanted you to know that we're grateful for everything you've done, for me, for Liam." His tone was calm, but his eyes told another story. He was breaking too. Emma looked down at the little boy between them, his small hands tugging at her sleeve. She realized then that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't about running away. It was about being brave enough to stay. Love wasn't meant to be safe. It was meant to be real, raw, and sometimes terrifying. And in that moment, she saw what her life could be if she stopped letting fear drive her decisions. She dropped her ticket onto the nearest chair. "Ryan," she said softly, "I don't think I can leave." His breath caught. "What do you mean?" "I mean," she said, her voice trembling but firm, "I've been running from the wrong things. Losing someone once doesn't mean I'll lose everyone. And maybe this time, love is giving me a second chance." Ryan didn't speak. He just stepped closer and took her hand. The warmth of his touch was enough to say everything words couldn't. Liam smiled between them, unaware of how deeply his simple plea had changed everything. That evening, instead of flying away, Emma went home. With them. It wasn't an instant fairy tale. There were still challenges, fears, and moments of doubt. But slowly, love began to heal what pain had broken. Weeks passed. Emma started spending more time at their home, helping Liam with his school projects, sharing quiet dinners with Ryan after bedtime. She laughed more. She dreamed again. For the first time in years, she felt alive. And though the memories of her past loss still lingered, they no longer defined her. She had found something worth staying for. A family, not by blood, but by choice. One rainy night, months later, Emma sat on the porch while Liam played with his toys inside. Ryan joined her with 2 mugs of tea. "You know," he said with a smile, "Liam still talks about the day he stopped you at the airport. He says it's his favorite adventure." Emma laughed softly, tears shining in her eyes. "He saved me that day," she whispered. "He really did." Ryan reached over and took her hand again. "We all saved each other, I think." The rain fell softly the same way it had the day she almost left, but now, instead of sadness, it felt cleansing. The air smelled of hope. She looked at Ryan, at the man who had taught her that love doesn't always come the way we expect, and at the little boy who reminded her that even the smallest voices can change the biggest hearts. Emma leaned her head on Ryan's shoulder, watching the world outside the window blur with rain. For the first time in so long, she wasn't afraid of what tomorrow might bring, because she had already faced her fears and chosen love anyway. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support keeps these stories of hope and humanity alive. Comment below. Sometimes the smallest voice can change everything. And remember, no matter how far you think you've gone, sometimes love finds you right before you're ready to leave.